Alright, so it's been a little while, and you guys might not recognize the sheep on the right. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't seen them on the channel, but I don't remember if I did or if I didn't introduce them. Anyway, um, there they are. They're Barbados Blackbelly sheep, which is what most people know them by, but they're really American Blackbelly sheep. I gave them a single flake of alfalfa, and I gave the girls another flake of alfalfa, and then they got all this beautiful green grass now. Yeah, isn't that nice? And that bleat is from another new addition. We're getting the grass growing on this side. This side's got the clover and the oat. So it's coming up. It's growing. It's growing fine. This side has got oats and whatever weeds grow planted in it. And y'all definitely might not recognize him. That's our new addition. That's Moonshine. We got all this pasture finally growing out nice. This is all ryegrass. Ryegrass and some clover. And I recently planted some oats in here, so we'll get some oats. We got plenty of grass. Especially with the irrigation. This year they will have plenty of grass. But today, the star of the show are the sheep. They're doing great. They lambed out, and we got plenty of lambs on the ground. We got one ram and 3 ewes from the rams. From the sheep. So I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty content how all that went down. The girls still have not kidded out, and that's kind of a good thing because they're kind of scheduled late January, early February. So even after all their turmoil they had, we are definitely looking good. You know, it's funny because I procrastinated so much on getting rid of that darn refrigerator, and the goats actually use it as a shelter more than the actual shelter I built them. These guys, they're too funny. We've had rain for the past couple days, or actually today and yesterday, so that's why everything's all kind of gloomy and wet. But talk about this grass, man. This grass is growing strong. With this rain, we should start seeing. Oh, it was pretty good rain, and we're supposed to have I don't know, about 2 feet of rain. 2 feet of rain, yeah, 2 inches of rain within the next week. So that should definitely give us the kind of irrigation we want here, and all that irrigation is going to give us about 2 feet of pasture here. And we got ryegrass and we got some clover in here. I might overseed some alfalfa, but the alfalfa is kind of sketchy because the alfalfa has some germination inhibitors in it. So when I want to plant more clover, like right here, you can see some of the clover in there. Or when I go to plant the ryegrass again next year, I'll actually have to spray the alfalfa dead with some Roundup or something. And I just don't want to do that. I don't want to put that kind of stuff on my grass that my animals are going to eat. As you can see, the clover is starting to sprout. It's starting to germinate. I believe that is crimson clover. So should grow large and tall. You can see some of the piles where it's at, where it was unevenly broadcasted, but it's kind of how it went. So we should have a really good, diverse forage here, which is going to be the native grass, which is weeds. You know, they're weeds really. A lot of the lettuce that grows out on its own, just because this whole area used to be a big creek. Now it just transformed to that small creek. So we got a lot of this wild lettuce, and we have a lot of foxtail, which isn't native. It's still an invasive grass, but it's kind of naturalized itself here. So we got that foxtail growing, and it's okay. It's not too bad having the foxtail here because it'll grow, and the goats and the sheep will eat the heads down. So we really won't have that issue with the seed heads causing issues with the seeds going in their nose and stuff like that. They usually take care of it, and if not, I mow it before then, so we're good. This is the only paddock that I really didn't treat last year for the common mallow, and it seems like this is the only paddock that is affected by the common mallow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the sheep to intensely graze this time. I gave them a flake of hay just so they could kind of settle their stomachs. It's not causing them any kind of real issue with scours or anything, but they're getting like clumpy. They're defecating kind of clumpy, so I'm gonna go ahead and give them some hay. And of course it's rich hay. I should be giving them low quality hay because the forage is rich and that's what's causing the issues. But I'm hoping the dry matter kind of helps things out, and then they could come in and sort all these weeds out. They could eat it down to just dang near the roots, and you could see all my planted grass is being shaded out by this common mallow. I planted rye, I planted oats, I planted Bermuda, but Bermuda's dormant, which is not a big deal, but the Bermuda will grow in the spring. But all the rye is on this side. I didn't plant fescue this year, but I might plant fescue just to kind of keep it all year round. Tall fescue number, I don't remember what number it is, but it's the endophyte free fescue. And then you got some fiddle, what are they called, fiddle neck weed or whatever. Usually bad if they eat a large quantity of it, but they're not eating a large quantity of it, so I'm not really worried about it. What I really want them to go ahead and take care of is all this common mallow. It's just drowning out my grass. On this paddock over here, I got this tote here because that's what I usually use for them to kid out and lamb out. Getting ready for kids. Excuse my mess. This side has all the ryegrass in it. This paddock is mainly ryegrass. Not very many weeds, but we are getting a little bit of chlorosis, and that is at the edge, starting at the edge, going down to the root. So that is definitely chlorosis caused by lack of iron. And it's not that this soil lacks iron, it's that this soil lacks acidity. The pH is not right, so we don't oxidize the iron in the soil, and the grass does not absorb it. So a quick way to fix that before we start getting really right into the growing season is I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with some elemental sulfur, prilled or pelletized, I'm not sure yet, and we're gonna hit it with some ironite. I just got to make sure that we get a really good rain right before, or I'm going to have to irrigate it so it waters it in really deep. That way we can fix the problem and not just band-aid it. These trees are finally dormant, and so are the 2 plums and all the mulberries. So pretty excited. These guys got about an acre of grass to graze on this year, and we will see what this year brings. If you've made it this far, thank you, and keep watching because there's going to be a lot more exciting stuff this year.